Hello and welcome to another episode of No Time. My name is Obed Velez, and with me, it's the most interesting man in the world, Joel Young.
What's good? No load time. Oh, but I'm glad to be joined by the one and only man who could save the world,
Thank you,
Obed
sir.
Velez.
Thank you, sir. I told you I didn't watch anything, but I fixed stuff. That makes
Not
me,
all superheroes wear
that ma-
capes.
right, and that makes me feel okay. Sir, how you doing, man? Did you stay dry? Everything good?
Yeah. Everyone, if you are someone who usually watches our show on a Friday, maybe because you heard the recording on a Thursday or whatever, we're recording this on a Friday live. And that's really just because of the storm, the hurricane, rather, that came through, not directly to Central Florida where we're based out of, but we still got a little effects out of it. Definitely, our hearts are with those that were affected in its path in the states here. Seeing a lot of stuff in Georgia, Tampa, and even the Carolinas. But anyways, for myself, I was fine. We decided to go against going live yesterday, just in the case that we live in Florida, power outages and other things, and
Internet, yeah.
uh, internet, and that's exactly what happened to me. I was fine. I could hear the wind outside, sounded a little intense for a moment. Did not have any crazy rain here, and what happens? Unfortunately, my internet goes out somewhere around like 10 p.m. Eastern time. And at that moment, I was like, "Oh man, well, it's a good thing we weren't recording because that would have been a time we would have been broadcasting live potentially." So,
Right.
yeah, power was fine, which I can live with that. You know what? I could sleep with AC, and that made me happy. So I'm okay with that.
Oh man.
But I will say it makes you appreciate internet more when you don't have it. It's one of those things that you're like, we
It
are a
is a
cable. If you're a cable
utility.
cutter, right?
Right. Yeah, it's a
Like,
utility now. I mean, and even if you have cable, right? Because usually if you have cable internet. So if your
true.
internet goes out, your cable's out too.
That's
So
true.
usually they're both coming in through the same circuit. Um, but yeah, I only had some sporadic trouble with internet yesterday, and today some general slowness, but nothing major. This area, like you said, wasn't affected, but definitely, um, yeah, you guys up north, take care, and
Yeah.
it's gonna take some time for some normalcy to come back, but hoping for the best for you guys. So, but
Yep.
yeah, no, luckily, all good in our area. So my room didn't flood again like that one last hurricane we had that we were out for like 2 weeks because.
Yeah. Oh
Oh
yeah.
man, I had to like take everything out of the room because there was a leak somewhere. It wasn't the roof; it was like the wall. It was
Yeah.
like window or something, dude.
I was talking to someone else about this today. I
Yeah,
mean, literally that storm, like the person was like, "Oh yeah, they were told when they had their home like, "Oh, they won't have any issues unless there's a historic rainfall." Well, what happened with that with that
that's what it
hurricane a couple
was.
years
Yeah,
ago? It was
yeah.
literally historic. The amount of water had not happened like that in years. So, yeah, like a
That's
situation like that, of course, is going to cause potential issues at that moment.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
glad it wasn't worse even
No,
then.
no, totally. Yeah, we didn't. We barely got any rain at all. Like, yeah, I took my kid to school this morning, and there was like plenty of kids. I was like, oh, I thought there's more kids than I thought that we're gonna see this morning. So,
Yeah,
went
yeah.
to the office was pretty empty though. So, just I want to say like 10, 15 people at the most. Not too many.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
it was pretty quiet. But no, overall, this area we did pretty good. Sir, I other than me again, I'm still playing Elden Ring, doing that other playthrough that I started a few weeks ago. Other than that, dude, I don't have anything else. Oh no, yes I do. This was on the state of play, which we'll cover later on. But I did get the DLC for Ninja Turtles since we were here since there was no work yesterday.
No, yeah.
That DLC came out that same afternoon after the state of play. So I went and got it the two characters, Mona Lisa and Mondo Gecko. So played with my daughter all morning yesterday. So yeah, that was good. That was good. That game is great, dude. That game is so good because we play Streets of Rage, right? That was excellent. I do think like in all things considered, as much as I really, really like Streets of Rage 4, I really do like it. Um, this game is just like pure nostalgia, like injected. It's
Right.
so good. It's so good, and you know, it's not only the nostalgia, right? The game plays really, really well. So, highly recommend it. If you guys haven't played Shredder's Revenge, go there. You go get it. It's great. It's a great game. Great, lots of fun. Uh, Great party game because it's 6 players. You know, if you have the money to buy 6 controllers, you know, hey,
True.
but you know, if you have friends that have PS5s, it's like, hey, bring your controllers in. We'll play 6 player Ninja Turtles. You know,
That's fun.
on a party or whatever. So that's you know, that's a lot of fun. So yeah, highly recommended. But other than that, sir, I do not have anything else. I finished The Boys. Uh, that was really good. I can again. I don't want to get into the politics of it because we went pretty deep last time. Now that it's done, it's like, bro, you guys weren't aware, you guys weren't aware that this is making fun of you, because it's really like, it's this is like not like on the nose, like there, bro, like you can't escape it. But it's good. I don't get the reviews. Like the reviews were mixed. I think it was great. That was me. Hey, maybe because I'm I'm probably partially biased for for the thematic elements on this show, but I really enjoyed it. So I did finish that. So that's the only thing that I've watched. I haven't watched anything else. But sir, tell us what's up. You told me that Rings of Power is being really good. Without spoilers, go ahead and hype it up.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I told you right before I got on here, like when I watched the last episode, and we're at episode 7 now, and there's one more final episode next week. And I wish that this week's episode, and I don't know what to expect next week. I don't know until I see it, but if it's anything of where the setup has where it left off on a nice cliffhanger, I wish both of these episodes would have been in theaters.
Oh well.
It's not just because of the production, but it's the experience as well. So you could have a lot of things that are really well made, and then the experience just is okay. And sometimes those are the things that's like it's okay to watch those movies at home or those shows at home, and that's nothing wrong with that. It's not a slight on it, but this was an event, and I think television's been needing events like this, and it's in some ways it's kind of disappointed how under marketed it can be to some extent because there's a lot of people who are going to watch this afterwards and they're going to be like, oh my gosh. And it happened with season one. It happened, same thing happened with season one, where a lot of people went back and they're like, "Oh my gosh, this actually is really good." I think the same thing's gonna happen with this. The hype is just increased. They took a lot of the criticisms that people had from season one,
Right. Yeah.
and and like although I liked season one, I can be honest and say that I am not the biggest Tolkien know-it-all person by any means. I know enough Tolkien to get by, but I'm not by any means the biggest guy writing the books and speaking Elvish on my weekends and those kinds of things. And I'm not saying that's wrong for the people who do. So my point being is when people in the community that spoke out and they said, "Hey, this character is supposed to be like this or that character is supposed to be like that." I can tell maybe yes, they're still doing their own thing. Yes, they're still going a little rogue, but you can tell they've listened to some of the criticisms. That's some of the things I've seen from other people speaking online. It's like the season's a lot better than the first season because they listened to some of the main concerns. I talked about the Elrond stuff before. They made him very much a bro in season one. In season two, he's a little bit more harkening back to this regal warrior to some extent that he can do both, and they really dive into that without getting into too many spoilers there. That's just one example of many things that I appreciate that they made that pivot to. But yeah, looking forward to watching more of it. Looking forward to talking more about with you when you get through it, and we'll get into spoilers at that time. But yeah, it's much better than it was for even season one. And season one I enjoyed, so that's a positive note. On the other note, from just giving you some news as well, I did take a chance this last weekend, and I saw a movie that I was not crazy about on the podcast. Like I mentioned to you, and we talked about the trailer for it. I was like, honestly, didn't sell me.
I know what it is.
And I went on and saw Transformers. I went and saw
Yeah.
Transformers
I
One.
heard. Okay, before you go, I heard good things
Yeah.
about it. I've heard, I've seen some things.
Okay.
So
So
let me know. Yeah.
So I'm gonna tell you right now, I was very wrong. I went into this thinking it was gonna be super goofy, super kiddie, and it just not that that's a bad thing. It just didn't get me excited personally from what I saw with the marketing. They marketed this movie wrong. This movie is actually like it starts because yes, they are young and this whatever,
Right.
but like I heard someone even joke about how like their voices even get deeper and change as the movie progresses. And like there's things that they do where tonally it goes from you're laughing to like you're excited to you're like, oh my gosh, they did what? They went there, they're alluding to this thing. It's the kind of stuff that if you were a fan of the original Transformers animated series and anything that's come from that time, like you're going to be very, very happy, I think, with this movie. I'm not saying everyone is, but that's my personal opinion. And I think it's a shame that it did not do very well at the box office. I blame it on marketing because I'm telling you, this movie was marketed wrong.
I think
You watch this
they try
movie,
to market it as a Ninja Turtles movie almost, and
exactly.
that wasn't the case. And you could tell
This
that they
movie's
were.
for real, dude.
Yeah, you could tell. No, I saw a couple of clips here and there, and of course there's spoilers because there's toys, right?
Yeah.
So
And you know the
and
Transformers
you know
story anyways.
yeah, if you know anything about Transformers lore, you know it's
Right.
it is what it is. So I want to see it. I want to see it.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's a visual spectacle. I think the
Oh, cool.
acting really, the writing is really well done. I'm
Oh,
surprised this didn't get a PG-13 rating. I'm gonna be honest with you. There's like a literally like scenes where like, without spoiling, like literally characters being ripped in half
right.
and faces being blown out, and you're like, whoa. It's a fun time. If those who are fans of it go out and watch it in theaters, you won't be disappointed. I promise you.
Right.
And if you're watching it from home, get yourself some popcorn, have a good time. I think
Yeah.
you'll enjoy it.
Did you I think we talked about it before. You played the War for Cybertron, right?
Cybertron, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So like the only gripe that I have with that game was excellent. Only gripe that I have on the lore end is that they call him Optimus and not Orion, right? And then he becomes Optimus Prime towards the end of the game,
right,
and that was like a super huge like gripe for me. And I can understand why they didn't do it because that's like super sweaty like Transformers lore,
yeah.
right? So,
But they don't care about
but
that in this,
yeah,
dude.
right, and that's why I
They
appreciate this
teach
movie
you.
because
Yeah,
they did the thing and I appreciated it. So yeah, no, I really wanna check it out for sure.
yeah.
So
I can't wait to see it again. And I don't say that
that's cool.
often with a lot of these
That's
ones,
cool,
so
man.
it's good.
Yeah, that's an unexpected surprise for sure.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
I'm hoping that you feel the same way about Craven.
Oh, oh man, don't get my hopes up.
Oh no!
I will
Don't
give
give
it
me
a fair
hope.
wing. And speaking of which, next week, guys, we're doing this episode on a Friday again. Next week, I'm watching Joker next week, so I'll talk about that because that has very mixed reviews as well. We'll talk about that
Right,
next week. We'll
right.
see.
Yeah, Transformers for the most part, like there was like middling reviews from like IGN, I
Yeah,
think, but again, you can't spell ignorance without IGN. So, but it's like at 70, I think, on Metacritic right now, which is
dude,
great.
that's
So, you
it's
know,
it's it's solid. I would not be
yeah,
saying if I didn't feel otherwise. It's
yeah,
good.
cool. Yeah, I'll check it out for sure. All right, man. How's Penguin? I heard that's good.
Oh my good. Oh, but you're missing out
I'm
on
missing out,
good
bro.
television. So we got Rings of Power, great, but Penguin, that first episode is so good because it's they call it the Dark Knight. How you would say like it's a good movie, not necessarily it has to be a great comic book movie.
Right.
Penguin's doing the same thing here, where it's only one episode. The rest of the thing could go down in the gutter. We don't know, but from the first episode, dude, they are literally giving you the Godfather on TV that just so happens to be in the Batman world. And oh my goodness, Matt Reeves is just an absolute brilliant person when it comes to Batman stories because it picks up right into from where you were in the Batman. So if
Oh,
you haven't seen the
great.
Batman, you
Okay,
have to watch it.
that's awesome.
Like literally the music, dude. I'm not gonna spoil, but like it starts right, boom, 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 boom. Like right away, you're in it.
All
And
right, all right,
yeah,
all right. I mean,
I am
I'll
pumped
check it
to
out. I'll
continue
check it
this.
out.
I'm pumped, dude. Can't wait for the next. They're doing it on Sundays, kind of like House of the Dragon.
There's
So
two
the
episodes
first
right
one
now,
came out
right?
last week Thursday. No, one.
One and
So
next one Sunday.
they have
Okay,
one, and the next one's on Sunday. So then it'll
okay,
be like House of Dragons will be every Sunday then,
okay.
a
So
Sunday
I'll
night.
probably just watch that tomorrow, and then I'll check it
Yeah,
out. You know, whatever, like Monday or something. So yeah, no,
for sure.
that one I'm very much looking forward to it.
It's good. It's really
So
good.
yeah, I'll
I
check it
can't
out.
say the same about
Yeah.
Agatha. I haven't seen it. I don't care.
I've
But
heard.
Penguin,
You know what?
let's go.
I've seen some things about Agatha, and it, it's to me what I've seen and from what I've gathered is that it's almost I know I never watched it, but my wife did. Is
Okay.
the Netflix Sabrina show?
Oh,
So
okay.
it
Yeah.
seems like they're kind of trying to
Copy and
do
paste.
that. Yeah, not copy paste, but they're trying to kind of do the same thing. Instead,
Sure.
like they got the whole like Mephisto thing happening, right? So
Yeah.
it's uh, Mephisto confirmed. So now we'll have to go
That was
watch.
fun. That was
Now
fun.
we'll have to go watch the Mephisto confirmed stuff. I did see a spoiler about Scarlet Witch. So and then they announced the
Right.
well, not announced, but they said, hey, we're kind of sort of working on having a standalone Scarlet Witch
Yeah.
movie. So that's more than likely going to be a thing. But yeah, I really want to check out Penguin. So
For sure.
I'm in for sure. Joe, you want to talk Star Wars real quick before we
Yeah.
go crazy on the gaming stuff because that's basically what we have this week. So
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say. I mean, literally, do you want to start with the Acolyte or right?
Let's
Acolyte
start with
first, maybe.
Let's start with the Ray rumors
Ray?
because
Okay.
yeah, because there was a rumor earlier this week saying that the movie is getting postponed.
Yeah.
There's rumors that the Taika Waititi movie is not happening at all. Like they're saying that they're like canceling everything, basically, almost to some extent. And now there was a rumor earlier this week that the Ray movie was gonna get either postponed or indefinitely suspended. So what is up with that?
Yeah, I'm basically everything that's come about is saying that this is false news. There has been zero confirmation from legitimate places telling you that this has been delayed or even canceled. And basically, most people have assumed that maybe you're still gonna have Jedi Order, New Jedi Order, which is what it's been rumored to be called. Because even that's not been official, but the new Jedi, like that's not even
Right.
like legit official. The title for it. But the rumor is that it's come out December 18th, 2026, which means that next year filming would have to commence on it at some point, whether that's late next year
yeah,
or
sometime
summer.
next year.
And so there's plenty of time. You and I talked about before. I think that there's a good chance that this is Kathleen's last one, and that's why when Snyder came in and said, "Yo, she's not like there's been no talks of her leaving. She's staying on." That confirmed all the things that you and I've talked about for a while. That there's a very good chance. That doesn't mean that anything can happen in this industry. We could say this today, and then tomorrow she announces her retirement. I don't know, but based on the information that's in front of us, when you make new informed decisions when new information presents itself.
I still
But
stand
you
by it,
cannot
sir.
make us,
That next month we'll know something.
and that's okay.
Yeah.
That. I mean, look, you've been right quite a lot, so there's nothing wrong. Like it's great that, but like my basis is this: until I see it, I'll believe it. I don't like this judgment or precedent that everything is canceled. It's coming from the same talking points of people who
Right.
just don't like this stuff, and I don't like what's been put out. I've been clear about the things that have been put out that I don't
We've been
like it.
critical of it, yeah.
But that
So,
doesn't mean that someone's losing their jobs or that things have been canceled just yet. And I had told you also before there had been things I had heard from other places, take it with a grain of salt, that they know that there's problems at Lucasfilm. Like, so Lucasfilm knows that they're not doing good. They're not in a vacuum where they think everything's perfect. And with that, they're them being aware of it and then them making decisions based upon being aware of it. Maybe there is some signs of new faith that they can try to restore in fans by trying to commence these things properly and well written out. There's quite a bit of time if 2026 is it. You can still get this right. I don't trust the creator based on the comments that have been made, but we will see. I just don't know to expect beyond that. But look, we talked about Rings of Power. We talked about how I believe some of the complaints they're even winning over some of the legacy Tolkien fans are being won over for season two. It's never too late. You're never too far gone. If you actually do things like how what Amazon has done and Disney says, like, we will try to give people what they want. They're not asking for that much, and don't treat the fans like they're dumb, and just really pay attention. You can have something really rewarding. I think Rey is a character that unfortunately was botched, and it didn't have the effect that she could have. And even in that, there's something very polarizing about her that I want to see more of her. I want to have more of her story because something feels unfinished. So look, we'll see. But I don't like these rumors coming around that are baseless right now.
Yeah. I don't. I think that again, and I'm kind of like in the same boat as Mark Hamill is with the character of Ray.
Right.
I think that it's. I think she's a good character. She's not a great character because of how that character was written. I think that okay. There's concepts of a character.
I like that.
There's the concept of the character is good,
No, I know what you mean.
and and even if you go like even with the Palpatine stuff, right? You didn't have to bring Palpatine in, but have it. If that would have been the reveal, it was like, oh yeah, it was like Palpatine. That would have been fine, right? It's just that I don't know. It was yeah. It was like she was too OP from the beginning, and they
Oh yeah.
needed to wrangle it back a little bit. But she's fine as a character, and I was looking forward to this, right? But again, I just find it insulting that every time that there's someone attached to a Star Wars project and they ask him a question, they go, it's like, well, we're going to go ahead and really annoy the fans with this one. It's like,
Yeah. You know what you're doing.
it's at this time, it's old and tired, and they know.
Yeah.
And they know. Like, even with gaming, it's getting to the point where these things are getting old and tired.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about. I have very strong feelings about stuff, and we'll talk about it. But yeah, even with gaming, dude. And I, I think that if it gets delayed, it's probably for good reason, and I'm hoping that it does get delayed and it gets like mandated with like, hey, you can't like do this to like, you know, try to like enrage the fans or whatever you guys are trying to do.
Yeah.
And I think Disney's realized that, right? And I think they've kind of like in the last few months they've had a tonal change for the better. And I talked positive about the parks. The other few weeks ago. The same could be said for movies where they're trying to go back to a neutral ground, and I think that's what what the best option is for them right now. But yeah, man, let's talk about the Acolyte, about how this budget ballooned and it's it's confirmed that $230.1 million for the entire show. And this was done during a tax filing. So yeah, let's go ahead and write this off as an L, good sir, because we are not renewing this thing. So those rumors were true. This is out of control, man. $230.1 million. That's more than the budget for the entire like prequel trilogy, probably. It's insane. It's insane for a show that a lot of people call the CW of Star Wars. I never watched the show,
Yeah,
so I
yeah.
wouldn't be able to
That's a good
confirm.
comparison.
I wouldn't be able to confirm. But what? Maybe this is why they're being cautious. Maybe this is why there's rumors out there. But go ahead, man.
It's important that we stick to the facts. You said it when we were talking about with our last story about how, like, people are just tired. People are overwhelmed. They just don't want none of this specific talking points around Star Wars that has been basically jarring to the fandom. And the same things happened with the show The Acolyte, where a lot of people wanted to stick it around, specific talking points, and they didn't want to look at the facts. The facts tell us that this thing had a ridiculous budget that it should never have had. Sounds a little bit like mismanagement. And respectfully, Obed, I don't understand how this showrunner was allowed to have this much over budget. It happens in the industry, but usually you're a big name behind it. Like, if your name is James Cameron, you could go over budget. You're not gonna get a phone call, right? You
Right?
spend and they'll finance it. If your name is Steven
Spielberg.
Spielberg,
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
allowed to
Yeah.
do that, right? But
Yeah.
when you are somebody who has a recognizable show or a Russian doll show that doesn't give you the right to go this crazy over budget for something like this, and when you can't tell when you're looking at it, and you like you said, you compared it beautifully like CW Star Wars in that way. Those are facts. Like, these are things that are literally problems with the show. So yes, the people I keep jumping to the fact of, like, how was this show, like, the people who defend it, and there's not too many of them, but I see some of their things. I try and be aware of all the conversation. How did this show get canceled and people don't want to say canceled, just not renewed, right? It got canceled. But, like, they don't. This show was not brought on because it had the first two episodes were record-breaking 4.8 million views on launch day, and it was seventh in place in the Nielsen top 10 original charts in its premiere week. It's just that important. Just the premiere week. Look at the Nielsen ratings over the stretch of the entirety of the show,
Right.
and week after week after week. I'm not pulling it up. If I had the chart in front of me, I'm telling you, we can check this data. It dropped off every single week. Check it. You'll see it, guys. We're not coming at this show and saying
It didn't make
well,
the
it
list
spent
a
all
couple
this
of weeks
money.
there. I
It
think.
didn't even make
Yeah.
the list. Exactly. Like, we're not coming at this thing and saying it did horribly and then like it actually had good ratings, because if it had good ratings, even being over budget, then we wouldn't be having this conversation. There would be a second season. Absolutely. I guarantee you that. But the mere fact that we're talking about this, saying that this show was not continued, is not because it had an amazing first week. It's because of the show. This show did not have the viewership and the backing that some of the people who protect it, profess this to be. And on top of that, there's just, like, we're seeing situations like this. They were negligent with the production of money. If they were negligent with the finances, this is just proof of most likely they were negligent with the story. They were negligent in the acting. They were negligent in their research. Like, this is like the ant hill, but inside you step on thing and all the ants go running. Like, this is just proof of
Right.
what was going on the inside that people don't want to look at and pay attention to. The Emperor has no clothes. We're seeing the proof right here.
Yeah, man. I have no words, man. I have no words. It's frustrating.
Yeah.
Because it's so frustrating that I don't want to offend anyone. I'm not in the I'm not in the business of offending people.
Same.
It's just frustrating. I just can't, like, in my mind, like, what was the budget for the Lord of the Rings, like the OG, the trilogy? Let's see.
It was a different time financially, but
Yeah,
still.
24 years ago.
Yeah, inflation's changed a lot.
Yeah. It was $93 billion.
Wait, 93 million? You said?
It was 93. Yeah, 93 million. Hobbit was
Yeah,
180.
yeah. I can see that.
Um. Oh wait, it was
Yeah,
not. Yeah, it was 93 per movie though,
yeah, I can see
which
that.
is fine. Yeah.
Nowadays, that would have been
And
like 500,000.
yeah, I mean, you're talking about a budget that's
The movies
close
made.
to 12 hours of like a movie, like
Yes,
with thousands of VFX shots back in the day and practical effects too, right?
yes.
I don't know what's probably what's the biggest the biggest budget movie that's come out in the last, I don't know, 2 years. What do
But
you,
Dune is one of them,
Dune?
dude.
Let's
Dune,
see.
Dune is pretty big recently. I mean, you have a huge cast,
It's
huge projections.
it's 190 million for Dune 2.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Obviously, you can look at like we talked about
It's
Avatar. We can
offensive.
look at that in a couple
It's a
years. It's crazy.
it's offensive. How do you and visually it doesn't even compare. It's not even close. Like what are you doing, dude? Like where does this money go?
Yeah, yeah.
Like
No sense.
Furiosa's 168.
Yeah,
That was another
yeah.
like big
Those
budget.
movies. Yep, big budgets.
It's
No
insane, bro.
sense.
What the heck? I don't. I just in my mind I was like, hey, here's like almost 300
Deadpool
million.
and the Wolverine, 200 million, dude.
So
That's
how do you
crazy.
give someone that budget that's never been involved with a VFX show, like a VFX heavy show that doesn't? How?
That's crazy.
How? It's insane. It's insane. I don't.
Yeah, this will be one of those things I think that like at some point in like film schools and stuff, like they may have to like do like a study on this at some point.
What not to do on TV? How not to spend your budget? Oh my goodness, bro! It's ridiculous.
Crazy.
Well, we'll see what happens with that. All right, we're gonna go through the state of play announcements, but before we jump in, sir, so PS5 Pro pre-orders went live yesterday, and I don't think we talked about it last week, right? About the classic.
No.
Maybe
I think we
I
did.
think we did because we talked about the portal, about us wanting the portal.
Very
So
yeah, very
did you
loosely
see that
while we were
that
playing Streets of Rage.
right? So did you see that portal was $100 more than the regular portal?
Just because of the design?
It's $299, or was because everything's sold out now, right? It's crazy.
I could have seen 50 and that would have been a stretch, but I could have seen that.
So
Because it's a special edition.
right.
That's crazy.
It's too much. The regular dual sense it's 80, and the dual sense whatever edge it's 220 I think. So
Oh,
so they had
that
that
hurts.
$1,000 bundle that included everything. That was like a PS5 Pro with a dual sense edge, and the charging cradle for the controllers for $1,000. And you know that of course was sold out like immediately. Scalpers were out there selling it for like, it went up to like $9,000 on eBay because it went from like 2,000, it went like 1,500, and then he started going up and up and up and up and up, and then the scalpers were like crazy going out there for those things. Actually, let's go ahead and let's go take a look at it right now.
eBay.
But it's insane, dude. Like I did see that a lot of people were able to get in the Sony Q and were able to actually grab one, right?
Yeah, oh
They
yeah.
were able to grab the bundle and grab the Pro. Like the Pro's still up. Like you can actually go out and still get the Pro if you want it. But not the special color like PS1 color one.
Yeah.
So let's see. PS5 Pro Classic.
Did little Billy get one for
30
Christmas?
3,500. Here's one for 3,500 for the bundle.
No way.
Um,
So that went from 1K to being resold for 3,500.
3,500 right now. That's the only one that I can find. Let me
Oh
see.
my goodness. That's greed. If you would have doubled, tried to sell for 2,000,
600
that's
for the portal.
what?
Yep. 200 for the regular controllers. Yep.
No, this
Yeah,
is
bro.
crazy.
Yeah.
This is bad.
It's insane. So, man, like it's very disappointing. Like it's very disappointed. Like I've already like um I'm never going to own a special edition console, like especially from Sony, right? Because this thing is awful. Like the way
Yeah.
they do this is terrible. The scalping and all this is just like it's unacceptable. So I'm not even gonna go through like the um through the process of even trying to get this. It's like I don't care, right? They sold them
Right.
whatever. I just don't care. Um I am being tempted, however, on going on the pro because again, Sony did the right thing where hey, let's get Digital Foundry to take a look at these games and have them put it out there. So they did some analysis out there, and it seems like it does make a difference, and it looks pretty good. Uh, you know, but again, going back, I just in my head I still can't justify the price. Like
No,
if
no.
this would have been the same, if this would have replaced the regular PS5 and would have included the disc, heck yeah, bro, I'll be on pre-order right now. But no, not this thing. Like,
Yeah.
um, I just can't justify it, and I'm holding out for Nintendo, dude. Again, I was like, whenever Nintendo announces their thing, like I'm gonna try and be there day one. But you know, when it comes to like any special edition anything, like I'm not gonna go through and try and get it. It's not worth my time. So it's
No.
unfortunate. It looks cool, right? I can deal with my black and white uh, PS5. It doesn't do anything for me. Like I got a little PS1 or classic color sticker on it that makes it look classic. So I'm good with that. Um, but they went ahead and put out a full list of games that have PS5 Pro support. So the list is out there. IGN has an article on it if you guys want to take a look at that. But yeah, they got a bunch of games. So
Yeah.
that's cool. All right, let's go ahead and do state of play, and start with a brand spanking new game, Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered.
Remasters are to be expected at this
Okay,
point. It's a constant theme.
here's how I feel about this game, and about the remaster. I don't mind it.
Yeah.
I don't mind it getting a remaster. Um, Especially like there's you can tell the difference. As someone that played that game extensively, you can tell the difference. Um,
Okay.
that said, in my opinion, this game is better than Forbidden West. Let me rephrase that. This game's story is better than Forbidden West. I think the story is better, the character progression is better, and some of the side quest stuff is better.
Yeah.
Forbidden West does give you a lot of freedom when it comes to traversing and all that. I think Forbidden West does it much better, and to be expected, right? But I think this game is phenomenal. If you never played this game, and you happen to have it on like your PS Plus thing, see if you can get the $10 upgrade and play it on PS5. This game is excellent. Like putting all my biases aside, right? This is not for me. I played that game a ton. I have zero plans of going back to it. But if you never played this game, you should do yourself a favor and play it. But how do you feel about this? Not a game that's fairly recent. So what do you think?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's really not that old, but I have to remind myself this was a big PS4 game, and sometimes there's a little bit of that recency bias where you, in your mind, imagine it better than what it maybe actually is. And when you play next gen or what's current gen at this moment of PS5 games, it's not gonna hold up its same ability, or not hold up. It's not gonna be able to maybe project it to what you might think it's worthy of, and people really love this game. So this remastering is a way of preserving games and their experiences beyond their original release. And clearly, this is a game that grew quickly into the hearts of the PlayStation fan community. So it's a great way to continue it on. And the other big important thing that people need to know: if you already have a PS4 version of this, you can upgrade to the PS5 version for $10. So they're not trying to make you go and rebuy the whole game again. You can literally upgrade for $10, and that's kindness. That's the way you treat your fandom. And for those who haven't played it yet, well, guess what? You get to play this now and a brand new experience. And that's again, that's it's a win-win at that point. I think this is the right way to handle it. I'm okay with it.
Yep. You can buy physical copies, like they're cheap for this game. This game's everywhere, so
Yeah.
yeah. All right, Monster Hunter Wilds got a release date announcement February 28th of next year. Oh, and Horizon comes out Halloween this year, so October 31st. Yep, Monster Hunter October 28th, 2025. This game looks real good. This game may be the game that makes me jump into Monster Hunter, because I really wanted to jump into World, but I was too late by then. I was like, I don't want to really go into that. But yeah, that game looks real good. So, looking forward to that hitting and see how it's received. So, yep. They announced some Astrobot DLC. Astrobot keeps doing really well. That game has been very well received. So, they're putting out content for it out there. So that's great. A couple of smaller stuff that they announced. They announced Pal World coming out on PS4. So, it's shadow dropped. I don't. This game is such a blatant ripoff of Pokemon that it's. I just found.
Sued.
Yeah, they're getting sued.
It's getting sued.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're getting sued by the Pokemon company, and they released it in the US. They did not release it in Japan. So they didn't want to, overstep their boundaries. Although, as soon as I saw this game, it's like, why is it like? Let's talk about this real quick. The reason why when I saw it, I was like, why is Nintendo not jumping on this? It seems like the way they were really smart on how they actually filed that lawsuit, because they didn't just file it for copyright infringement. They or just like, oh, this looks too much like our game. Like they said, it was like, oh no, there's stuff here, mechanics that are ours, and they're using them. So they were really smart about that. So we'll see what happens with that. I have no interest in that game, so I'm good. Metro Awakening VR game coming out November 7 for PSVR 2. Also coming for Meta Quest devices. Let's see. Okay, here's a big one for me. Lunar Remastered Collection. So, if you're not familiar, Lunar originally released on the Sega CD. So this is the Lunar games. Both Lunar games are probably the best two Sega CD games that were released. RPGs through and through. There was a version for PS1 that came out later on, but then it never came back after that. So it's great to see that the Lunar games are getting a remaster and are coming out together as a bundle. Great games. So if you're into retro JRPGs, highly recommend them. They're real good. They're real good, legit. So highly recommend those. Shredder's Revenge DLC. We already mentioned that. Okay, so here's one that's super lazy because this thing is beloved and I think it deserved better. And it's the Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver remasters that are coming out. I think this should have been a full-blown remake. for like actually like from the ground up make this new. Um, I think it deserved better because the man those PS2 looking graphics,
25 years old.
it's rough, dude. It looks like a Dreamcast game, and I don't know, man. Um, well, I think Soul River 2 came out on Dreamcast, so
Yeah.
I can't. It probably looks better in my mind. It probably looks better in my mind, but I think this game's deserved better. I think
Yeah.
this should have been a remake. So, but hey, you know what? You're getting a remaster. Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver 1 and 2. Interesting that the original Legacy of Kain, I guess, relegated to PS1 because not sure why. So or PS1, there was a Saturn version for that. I think there was a Saturn version for Legacy of Kain. So another Hitman 3 VR. So there's another VR game coming up. Sonic. There's a Sonic Cross Shadow Generations. There's a Keanu Reeves DLC for that. They got announced. That game comes out pretty soon. I think it comes out. I think the DLC comes out in December, but the game comes out in a couple weeks, if I'm not wrong. Either next week or the week after. So, Lego Horizon Adventures that comes out on November 14th, PS5, Switch, and PC. And that looks pretty charming to me. So, that's it's pretty interesting. So, DLC for Alan Wake 2, new colors, kind of like metallic colors. How do you feel about that all white controller? That looks real nice, right?
No, no, I think it's wonderful. I'm a big fan of it.
Yeah,
I I don't have a need for it, but I want it, and I
yeah.
want it.
It looks real pretty. I like it. It reminds me of the PS1, like the
Oh
PS1, the
yeah,
console, the little one,
well, yeah,
because it was like a
yeah,
white shade. It wasn't gray like
yeah.
the original PS1, so or PlayStation, I should say. But yeah. All right, and I guess the big one, Ghost of Yotei, which is prequel sequel to Ghost of Tsushima. I can't remember
Yep,
if this
yep.
was either before or after on the timeline, and it looks incredible. Looks incredible. Um, I I like man, like people are dumb. Like what? This is great, and I get it. And you and I have talking about on or making a separate podcast and put it on the Patreon about a certain company that
Hmm. Yeah,
has been meddling with creative freedom for a few years.
yeah,
Don't want to get into that. That said, yeah, dude, there were samurai girls back then. You didn't know, like
yeah.
it's it's a thing, right? It's so there was some. I don't want to say it was a lot, but there were a few very vocal, very well known gaming personalities, I should say, that were critical of the main character being switched from Jin Sakai um, to a female protagonist for this game. Um, I don't mind it at all, man. Like people are weird. I don't care. This game's probably gonna be freaking incredible, and I'm here for it. And this is day one buy for me. Like there's no going around it. So I don't care. I don't care. Like based on the trailer,
I
you may
know.
have like a wolf companion too, dude. Nah, man. This game looks great. Um, if you can complain all you want, and that's fine. You can say whatever.
Yeah,
Joe, I have opinions about um outside forces meddling with creative freedom, and we can talk about that. We can talk about that later. Oh, I see that I'm freezing up a little bit, sir. Am I good?
yep.
Am I good? Am I back?
You're still a little frozen.
I'm
Still a little
frozen.
frozen.
Uh,
Still a little frozen. We can
uh.
hear you. We can hear
Hey,
you though.
okay,
We can, no, you're
okay,
back. You're back.
all
You're
right.
back.
So I have strong feelings about that, and we can get together and we can talk about it at a later time. But what do you think of what you saw, man? Because the first game is incredible. So
Yeah, I feel like most people you would expect positive reaction to it, and I'm one of those people that am in that same majority. That I think this looks really good. I'm excited about it. I have to be completely transparent. I have not played the first original one. I know there's a director's cut out there. That's kind of what I want to get my hands on and play that
yeah,
first. So I need to make sure I do that. They're giving me time to catch up to it. But no, I this is a specific like also kind of like stylization period region based game that I think is not, I won't say lacking, but just there's not as many games that exist like this in its own style, and that's what I think makes it extra special. It's a unique experience that many people can play, and from what I've seen, the love has been so good that aren't they supposed to be like working on a movie or a TV show or something based
it was a
on
movie.
even this the
Yeah,
first one, something like that?
yep.
Yeah, like these are cinematic, so I'm excited to play the first one. But hopefully this is good, but from what I'm seeing of it, this was the showstopper, and what a great way to end your state of play. You know, going into this new quarter of the year essentially.
Yeah. No, that first game is so good. And yeah, I'm looking forward to like they said that there's gonna be some more other media for that game out there. I'm looking forward to it. Um, I didn't have it on the notes, but I just remembered Assassin's Creed getting delayed. What's up with
Yeah,
that?
yeah. I'm okay with this, you know, quality over rushed games, and Assassin's Creed has had a problem with that for a while, where they just push those games out really quickly to get to an annual basis, and they started to lose a lot of quality. And I still played them anyway, we know, and clearly trying to avoid that here. My hope is that whatever bugs and major issues that they have, they're able to get it right, but it won't be until next year, guys. I think February, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah,
of
February
next year. Actually,
14th.
that's
Yeah.
coming out, which is okay. You know what? That's okay. Hey, Valentine's Day. You know what,
Hey,
Obed?
there you go, sir.
Valentine's Day, I'm gonna be sitting there playing
Treat
some
treat
Assassin's Creed.
yourself.
Yeah, that would be a gift to me. But no, I like it. I like it. This is
Yeah.
good. And I'm okay. I'm okay with waiting. It's worth the wait. Hopefully. So
Yeah.
I'm assuming that. It's
I,
optimistic side of me.
yeah. It seems like there's I, I don't think there's something necessarily wrong with the game. I think it's more of I think they are listening to some of the criticism that they've got and probably reworking some stuff when it comes to like the story of the game or content. And that's fine, right? If you're like I know that I mean Assassin's Creed is like it's pseudo historical. It doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily have
Yeah.
to be one on one. Like I talk about Black Flag all the time. How great that game is, and
Absolutely.
it's like how dare you do a pirate game and not go to Puerto Rico? And it's like, come on, guys, like really,
Oh.
guys, really,
Yeah.
really, and uh, there's some as someone that for a little bit I was a huge like Caribbean history nerd. um
Yeah.
there were some I was like, oh, this is it's not accurate, but sure, I'll roll with it, and that's totally fine, right? It's crazy to see people getting like super offended for like
I
this
know.
for shadows, and it's like, dude, whatever, it's a game.
Not. Yeah, it's a
Like,
video
do
game.
you don't see people complaining about Dynasty Warriors? Dynasty Warriors, there's a new Dynasty Warriors coming
True.
out. And you don't
Yeah.
see people complaining about, you know, Lubu and other like, oh, that's not, it's like, oh, that's not no, like Nobunaga wasn't actually like what like Onimusha is like Nobunaga wasn't actually like a real demon king. Like they called him
Right.
that because he was like trying to take over, but he wasn't really a demon, right? It's like,
Right.
it's
Right.
ridiculous. There was nothing
Creative
like
liberty.
supernatural about it. It was just that.
Correct.
It was just a name. but games do portray him as like Demon King or whatever. And
Totally.
it's like it's ridiculous. It's a video game. I mean, people need to freaking like enjoy and gaming and whatever they're doing and just forget about like suspension of disbelief, right? It's like, could you imagine me going to watch like Fast and the Furious and every 5 seconds be like, that's completely impossible because
It's hard
physics.
not to do.
It's hard not to do like
do.
because physics.
But
It's
going
ridiculous.
into it.
Like when he started happening a lot in Fast and the Furious, I would be
Yeah.
like, wait, this is like not accurate. Like towards the end, I just didn't care. It's like car grew wings and started flying like a freaking Pegasus. I don't get whatever. What like you do you. And it's the same with the Bond movies. Come on, those movies are ridiculous. I was like,
Yeah.
you're not gonna be pointing out everything that's inaccurate on everything. Like people need to just enjoy, right? Like how about just sit down, enjoy the game, don't worry about playing a girl, and if we, yeah, and at the end of the day, who cares, right? And that's my thing. At the end of the day, who freaking cares? It
Yeah.
doesn't matter to me. So, yeah, I think it was an okay show. They did it. They really, ended with a bit of a cliffhanger there. But there are rumors that for 2025 they will like Sony does have a much more robust plan and for games coming out. Like Ghost of Tsushima comes out next year. I'm assuming Wolverine comes out next year. I don't know.
I don't think so.
You don't
I
think
think
so?
that's 2020. I don't think so. I think that's
Man,
2026.
that's far. It's far in.
I know.
So there's stuff happening. There's great games coming out this year. The Marvel Capcom Collection came out. It comes out in physical in November. Yeah, unfortunately, Assassin's Creed doesn't come out this year, but you got Dragon Ball, you got RPGs from the Persona team. There's stuff happening, and there's still good games coming out for the rest of the year. I heard Outlaws has gotten better with like patches and additions. So maybe that's gonna be like the game that I get for the holidays, or maybe I'll get that Refantasio game, just play an RPG and relax. So, but yeah, there's stuff out there. There's options, and if if you can score a PS5 Pro, hey, heck yeah, it's gonna be awesome. So,
Don't donate one to us.
yeah, go ahead. We can definitely use a review copy for it. So, I would need a disk drive on it to make sure that everything works properly. So I gotta make sure that
True.
we're fully operational, sir. So what we got? Let's go ahead and wrap it up.
Absolutely. Thank you all so much for being with us for this episode. We want to encourage you to stay tuned, stay subscribed. We're on podcast platforms of your choice. You can listen to the audio version of No Load Time on SoundCloud, Spotify, Amazon Music. Find us, subscribe to us, follow us on those platforms. You also can watch and subscribe to No Load Time on our YouTube channel. No Load Time on YouTube. Subscribe, like those videos, write a comment. I know you hear every YouTuber say the same thing, but it's just an easy and free way for you to support our channel. So we really appreciate all support from every single one of you. And those who have already done that, thank you. Additionally, you can follow us on social media at No Load Time. It's at No Load Time. Facebook, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, X. We're out there. Please make sure you follow us. Additionally, if you would consider supporting our show even further, we're on Patreon, patreon.com/no load time. That's patreon.com/no load time. You can actually, for the price of $1 a month, literally $1 a month, support our show, and it goes a long way. So thank you all for your support, but only do it if you can. And last but not least, if you have a question, comment, or feedback, you can email us, noloadtime@gmail.com. That's noloadtime@gmail.com, and we'll send you the address of where you can send those PS5 Pros. Thank you, and we'll see you guys next week.
Thank you guys. Stay safe. We'll see you again next time.